Welcome to newsletter number 2. Newsletter number 2. Wow, I'm asking for trouble, but that's all right. So, let's talk about where does your power live? We're talking about Emily Patullo, some embodied awareness, and Da Vinci's practice for some realignment. So, there's a moment in part 3 of my conversation with Emily Patullo that where the tone shifted. It wasn't really dramatic or loud, but it was pretty unmistakable. To me, it was a moment where she stopped talking about the idea of reclaiming her life and started talking about the decision to actually do it. She told me, quote, "I'm not wasting any more time on pleasing others and doing the right thing." That sentence carries a lot of weight with someone who has finally come home to herself. In part 3 of our conversation, it's about taking back your power, not in a performative way, not in a new year, new me way, but in a really quiet, grounded, embodied way that, will actually last. And that's why this week's Da Vinci inspired activity is really all about the body because, purpose and intuition and creativity, they don't live in the mind alone. They live in a place where the body's always whispering and where it tightens and it opens or it shuts down. You know, Emily's transition didn't start with a plan, actually. It started with awareness, with noticing things, with listening. And, I hope this activity can help you do a little bit of the same. So remember that activity. This is a Da Vinci practice for understanding where your energy gets stuck and where it flows. Last week, I talked to you about creating a body map. This week, let's return to it, not as an art project, but as a conversation piece with yourself. So let's look at that body map again. This time, take a moment and really look at it. Focus first on those red areas, those places you marked as tense and stressed or overloaded, and ask yourself, do these areas, do they still feel like pressure points? Has anything shifted a little since last week? Do you want to change any of those colors now that you're actually more aware of what we're doing? This is your map. You get to evolve it as you want. So stop and take a look at those red areas. Are they really red areas? Once you've done that, let's move forward to step 2. Look at the green areas of that map. Remember, those are places of aliveness, the parts of your body that feel open, flowing, awake. Ask yourself, are these still your go-to places for calm and vitality? Have new areas come alive since last week? Or do any of the green areas need more attention or nurturing? Again, remember, this is your map and you're allowed to make changes to your map. Now, step 3, settling into your map. Find a comfortable position. You can lie down or sit in a chair, feet flat or crossed, whatever feels good and natural. Close your eyes if that helps. Choose one red area on your map. Just one. Just one. Bring your attention there and think back through your life. What kind of stress has lived there? How long has it been carrying this weight? What memories or patterns or expectations might be tied to this tension? And then finally, what would it take to notice this area before it turns red? What would help it move even slightly towards maybe green at some point? Don't force your answers. Let them just rise, percolate, our new favorite word, my new favorite word. Let them rise. This is not about fixing anything. You're not here to fix it or change it even necessarily. We're just trying to understand it. So go ahead and do that. Take your time and do this activity. It's going to take more than once. It's going to be a repeated activity. Hopefully it turns into a daily mindfulness activity for yourself. You know, as I sat with Emily's words from part 3 of our conversation, her decision to stop, living for others and finally live as herself, I kept thinking about what this week's body map exercise reveals, because the truth is the places we color red aren't just muscles or tension points. They're stories and they're memories, and they're parts of us that we have been carrying weight we've never named. And those places we color green, those are parts of us that for some reason we refuse to dim. Even when life gets heavy, we keep them green. They're the sparks that keep showing up, reminding us who we are beneath the noise. Emily's journey is exactly that. A shift from living in the red zones of expectation, pressure, and performance to reclaiming some green zones of creativity, intuition, and purpose. When she said, I'm not wasting any more time on pleasing others and doing the right thing, she wasn't just talking about career choice. She was talking about an embodied choice, a choice of listening to the places inside of her that have been whispering for years. This week's activity hopefully has invited you to do the same, to notice where your body tightens before your mind even catches up, to trace the history of that tension back through your life, to ask what it would have taken to shift that area, even a little, from red to green, and to recognize your body is not just reacting, it's actually communicating with us. And maybe like Emily, you'll discover that the places you've been ignoring are the very places asking to lead you forward. So take your time with this practice. Let it be honest. Let it be gentle. Let it be a conversation with yourself that you've been postponing. And let it be full of curiosity and questioning. Why not end it by asking, why am I here? What am I meant to do? Think on it. Until then, stay curious, stay open, keep asking questions, and peace, love are.